This is a great spot for coffee. Yeah, it is. I like it. Little stove that I paid next to nothing for on Amazon. It is a Chinese knockoff of something good or something better, or it costs a little more. Okay. How this press works, as you saw, you dump the coffee in, voila. And then you pour the water in, you let it sit for a while. Not that there's a lot moving around out here nowadays. I'm just gonna keep it covered up just in case. Okay, water is ready. It'll be story time. Story time. The first time, this story is the first time I ever went camping. It was with my nephew, and he was fresh out of the Army at the time. This is right when all of these prepper shows were on and everything, but we had started really preparing to go camping and stuff before all of that, oh, the world is going to come to an end type thing. But he was in the service, and I was working a heck of a lot at the time. So long story so we decided that we were going to go camping, and we go out. We don't have a whole lot of money, so our camping equipment is pretty much bare minimum. We're talking military sleep systems and Walmart tents. And I didn't have the most faith in this Walmart tent. I also had a tarp that I picked up from Harbor Freight. So overall, it wasn't so bad. Let's start there. The equipment wise, heavy as all get out, man. We went out there we went to a state park, so we didn't go hiking 5 miles or anything like that. We tent camped, we car camped, I guess that's what you would classify it as. And we get to the site. We already had this date set. This was the day that we were going to go. It's early April, and you know the saying in Missouri, April showers, May flowers. Well, it held true, because when we got there, we had just enough time to set the tent up. By the way, had my dog with me. So we're in a tent pretty much 30 minutes after we get there, after we get the tent set up and everything, it starts to rain. And the thing that makes this situation hard is because we have the dog, and the dog is getting restless, and you know, you have to take the dog out to use the bathroom because on this site, you know, your animals had to be on a leash at all times. And plus it's out in the middle of there. Um, I like a lot of cream though. Don't judge me. Well, you can judge me, but I won't care. I like a lot of cream. Great. Um, and that's my pretty much my coffee press going away. And coffee going in. Good morning. Oh man. I couldn't. I couldn't explain the feeling of this right now. Um. So we set the tent up. It starts to rain. Let me back up. Let's go over everything that is out there with us. A Walmart tent, some very heavy equipment. I took, we had, they had, you have to buy firewood out in these state parks. The ones that we went to, they don't really allow you to, well, you can bring wood, but you can only bring certain type. And since I have a wood burning fireplace, I had wood. Um, no, I did not bring wood the first time. That was my mistake. So we bought wood from them, but their wood was still green. For those of you that don't know what green wood is, that's wood that isn't seasoned all the way, therefore it doesn't burn properly. So in the times where we got the weather to stop a little bit, we really couldn't get the fire going because the wood wasn't seasoned. So we had the next, so that was a Friday. We were out there Friday, Saturday, and we were leaving Sunday morning. So Friday, we were pretty stuck in there all night, and we were stuck in the tent all night because it was cold. It was cold rain. It was kind of heavy at times. So we were in this four-person tent, and I, and a dog. She was fine. I had been getting her acclimated to sleeping in a tent, so she was cool. She just wanted to sniff. Day one. Day two, there was a slight break in the afternoon because it was raining when we woke up. So I had this cook set, and we had some dehydrated meals. We had some dehydrated meals, so we cooked breakfast inside of the tent. Did I mention it was pretty cold in said tent? It was. We were in a three-season tent, and it was about 35 degrees at night. 35 degrees is 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 it is bad. It is bad when you can't move around because you really can't warm up. So we spent the majority of the night kind of cold because we were just stuck in position. We couldn't really move around. We were just stuck. Okay. And that's just what it was. So the next day we were like, hey, we had a break in it. We decided that we were going to go fishing, and we make it out to the lake. Here's the problem: we make it out to the lake, and I got my dog Sasha, and I'm about to tie her up so we can, so we can get the pole set up, and then we were gonna, let her run. You know, here's the thing. I let her off the leash. Usually she's good in this situation. For whatever reason, she decides that she is going to bolt towards the lake. And when I say towards the lake, from where I was about to tie her up so we can get the poles in the water to the lake was about 10 feet. And it was how the reflection of the water was bouncing off. The reflection of everything, she thought it was just grass, and she took off, man. She hit that water, and they had to go in after her. Well, they canceled the swimming trip. Oh, I think they're coming for me. I gotta get Ghost. How fast can you camp and get out? The jig is up, fellas. The jig is up. You never take me alive, coppers. So, um, so Sasha bolts. She bolts to she bolts into the lake. I have to jump in after her because at this time I really hadn't put her in any huge bodies of water, so I wasn't quite sure how well she could swim. So I had no choice but to go in the water after her, right? Before she got too far. I don't know if you ever swam when it was, 30 degrees out, but luckily, she hit the water. She swam about 10 feet out. It was at the boat ramp, so I didn't have to get too deep in the water, so I think I got up about waist high. Um, when we made it back to, so we left that, needless to say, because I'm soaked at this point, and it was just too bad. We make it back to base camp, and this was one of the good times. I was happy I overpacked because I did have an extra pair of pants and some shoes, but my boots were soaked, and my warmer pants, I guess you could say, were done. So now I have a wet dog and wet clothes, two-person tent, and it's 30 odd degrees out. My dog isn't used to being outside like that, so I had to make a decision. What do I do? The blanket that she was sleeping on, just to give her a bed to sleep on, that was soaked because that's the only thing we had to dry her off with. So she's shivering at this point. So now I have to make a decision. Do we leave? Well, I guess we could have totally gone to the car, just started the car up and sat in there for a little while. We totally could have did that, but we didn't. We didn't go soft like that. We took it like men. I put the dog in the sleeping bag with me. It was I still have the sleeping bag to this day, but like I said, it was a military sleep system. It was the three-part sleep system. So it works well. It's synthetic, so it works well when when it's wet. It still has some insulative properties. So overall, we were okay. We made it through that night. We made it through that night. She never ran off like that again. Moral to that story. Never ran off like that again. When I told her to stop anytime from that point on, it was instant. There was no more hesitation in her soul. Uh, but yeah, that was that. Um, what else? That was it. The next day, so that night after we got her warm, that was Saturday night, and we were going to leave Sunday. It was such a miserable trip, and all of our alcohol was gone. We decided that we were going to leave in the morning. So we decided that we was gonna have all the wood that I had purchased. We were gonna have this big bonfire, and we were gonna enjoy the last night, no matter what rain or whatever. We were gonna be out there in the rain. Did not matter. We were leaving in the morning anyway. Believe it or not, the minute we decided that we were gonna do that, the skies opened up. And well, when I say opened up, I should have said the skies cleared. The rain went away, and it gave us 3 hours of good weather to finish our alcohol and enjoy the fire, man. And it turned out to be a great night after that. And I felt that that trip was such a disaster that I had to go out and reclaim that. And I legitimately went out there a few months later. My nephew wasn't able to go, but I took my son out and I reclaimed that. And I took my own wood this time, so I knew that the wood was going to be good. And my son and I went out there and we cooked hot dogs and bratwurst, and we lived life and loved it. We did some hiking, going to trails. Um, the park that I'm going to be doing this bike packing trip on, this first one, that is the same park that I had my worst adventure on. So it's only natural that I should go back there to do something brand new in there again and let it go all disastrous on a bike, nonetheless. That's it for my story.